Oh,
Hey, what's going on? It is your girl, TampaMystic, and we're live. You see it?
Industries.
That back there,
Most
big industries, most wanted, not the little
wanted.
one. Listen, I've got one of my favorite people checking in. Somebody that I've been working with for years now, for a very long time. Definitely one of the hottest PR ladies in the game. Been doing this a long time. I'm gonna let you introduce yourself.
I appreciate you. Likewise, it takes a team for sure. So I'm grateful that we even can work together and bring each other this energy. Yeah, so I'm a PR branding strategist. For those of you who don't know, I pretty much do PR branding, marketing, just for brands. A lot in the music entertainment industry, but not only the music entertainment industry. Of course, a lot of other industries as well, business, political, a lot of different other things.
Got it. Understood. Well, listen, thank you for being here tonight. I really feel like we're long overdue for this conversation because, again, we've been working together for a long time. And I just want to start out and saying how much I appreciate you. You've been such a blessing to work with. You're so easy to work with. You're so professional. You're on point. I can't say enough good things about you because I honestly don't feel like that about most people out here.
So likewise, likewise. So I'm grateful
Absolutely.
for you too.
Definitely. Introduce your company.
So my company is Jules of Rome. I guess I could give you a little bit of insight of what that means. So I am an interior design major. So I actually just happen to love Eastern European architect. So why I came up with the whole Rome thing, it was about building an empire, basically. So Jules is, of course, my nickname. I've been kind of called that since I was a child, but also, in my thought, it was like, okay, well, these are going to be. I love helping talents. I love helping brands, new brands. It doesn't really matter what type of brand, but actually helping them take their vision and bring it to life. So my thing was like, the jewels of my empire. So that's
I love it. And I put it across the bottom of the screen. Make sure you guys follow her. Jules of Rome is her official Instagram page, so make sure you guys follow that. I'll have it scrolling throughout the interview for you guys to follow her. So I just want to dive right on in. You do public relations work, also known as being a PR.
yes.
For someone out here, and this is probably going to be geared towards a lot of the independent artists, run down or give us a breakdown of exactly what a PR does when you're working with a music artist.
So, I want to say there's a lot of different PRs out there. Just because I feel like there's so many. Like I know I work with a ton. I work with you. I work with many others as well. And a lot of us kind of have like a niche per se. Whether that be in events, the booking world, or maybe marketing, or publications, whatever it may be. So for me specifically, I kind of do things a little bit differently. I've been working behind the scenes for quite some time now in the industry. Behind the scenes of many different events, a lot of different talents that have broken through. I'm also the PR director for Viral Media Boost, the Music Funding Academy. I also worked with M4 for the last 20 years, which is doing events and things like that. So I kind of take a lot of things in a perspective. Also, Radio Next Radio. I don't want to forget them. They're big. But so it's kind of like in all these different elements, right? I've worked in the radio, DJ pool space. I've worked in, the event space, and helping people get on the stage, whether it was push stocks, rolling out, whatever, or even our own events. And then I've also worked in the space of marketing, and then now, also funding. But there's so many things that an independent artist needs in order to take themselves from here to here. And a lot of times it can be very confusing, and some artists just don't really know what they need or what they don't need. So my goal is to help them to structure out a game plan and have an understanding of what each component does, and then and understand it in a way so that even if they're not gonna like be an expert at this, you have an idea of what to expect. Because if you're just new in the industry and you're or new coming up artist or whatever, and you're coming into this world and you're just like, the a lot of artists always think like, oh, I need, I need this component, I need this, but they're not ready for these things, whether it's management, whether it's marketing, whether it's a PR or whatever. So my goal is to help them to have an idea of where to start in the base, and then where we're going. So we build out a game plan, and then whatever it is as far as the public relations side of what's entailed, whether that's publications, whether that's getting them in interviews or whatever, everything's really customized pretty much for each individual. I've never had two campaigns ever alike, or should you guys know that there's never been any artist that ever broke the same, like ever. And I'm
Right.
about a good 60% of those, at least witnessing them firsthand, if not helping a part of it. So it is really important to have a game strategy and a game plan. So one thing that I did, and I'm kind of actually on this journey right now, so I'm really excited about this because I'm kind of about to release, all the information soon. But I dropped my first book called The Secret Sauce: Your Engine to Success in the Music Business a few years ago. The idea for this book was there's never been a roadmap or a guide to in this industry. We
Right.
jump in and it's like we just go, and really for any of us coming up from whatever communities we come from, we're not taught all the basics, financial literacy. We're not taught the fundamentals of a business or a foundation or nothing. Everything is something we actually have to seek and really get into and educate ourselves. But even in the music business, it's never, there's never been a roadmap or a guide to, the labels never talk about it. And then us as entrepreneurs and, like me and yourself, we're the ones that actually really do care. And we try to open those doors to give them opportunity to be able to build up this, spectrum, right? So with my book, the idea is I wanted to give the recipe. I wanted to give them the idea of understanding of where this starts from. Where is it that what are we gonna do now, and what's the viewpoint we have to have moving forward into what we're gonna do with our business. So that's pretty much what the book is about. I talk a lot about the 4 elements, which is the 4 major parts to building a brand. So I don't want to give everybody too much. Honestly, it's a 30 minutes read. It's very, very short to the point. But it's so imperative because without that, you're literally can be putting or think you're putting 100% into what you're doing, but you're really missing another whole 100%.
Yes.
And so it's very, very important to educate. And I think we're in this era right now today where it's very imperative that we all educate each other, help each other, push each other, build with each other. So I am really excited because I am about to release the following of that, which is going to be in some volumes, and it's broken down into series, and every single part is going to break down from everything you think of, from mindset to production wise, to the marketing, to social media, you name it. And then along the way, I'm going to bring in, people like yourself and just in your field, because we all play a part to this. And one thing I do want to say for independent artists, you don't always just need one PR. You don't need just one marketer. You don't need just one DJ. Yes, you should start there because you want to have your go-to or your main, person that you contact. But like even me and you, we both have a crazy amount of network. We might have some that are similar, but then we also have some that we don't even know, or we may know of the people, but I personally may not work directly with the person, but you might, so it's really important to, as an independent artist, I think the best advice I should say is do your homework for whoever it is that you're talking to or getting ready to talk to, interview, whatever it is you're about to do. Do your homework on it. I don't care if it's somebody saying they're going to do marketing. I don't care if it's a service. I don't care if it's an interview, whatever it is. Do your homework because it's good to always have an idea of who you're talking to, and be respectful and know that you could possibly be talking to somebody. Just because you may not be cool with that person, don't burn your bridges because everybody is connected. The industry is huge, but it's very, very small. And we all are very connected. So
Yes.
you get a bad taste in one person's mouth that's a high executive in behind the scenes, that can trickle down to a lot of other people, and you don't want that. So you want to always just keep a good, headspace, know who you're talking to, and have some more insight, and just educate yourself is really important. I know I'm tangent, but it's because I'm passionate about it, so I know I kind of just go on, but yeah, to give that information.
It's absolutely what they need to hear, though, because I'll tell you, one of the biggest situations that I run into with a lot of these independent artists is they don't read.
Right.
I'll send them a short paragraph of information, and then they'll come back and ask me like 3 questions that was answered in that information I sent them, which lets me know they didn't read anything I sent them. And I'm like, that's how you educate yourself, is reading through that stuff. And it can potentially keep you out of some bad situations. You know, you might end up in a situation where if you would have read the fine print, you're like, oh no, this is not for me. So I'm glad that you made your book an easy read. Like you said, it's a 30-minute read. So, you know, I highly encourage every artist out there to just get out there and really, you know, network and meet people, and, you know, people like yourself that's going to educate them on stuff.
Oh yes, absolutely. It's very important, and I feel like we're in that space right now. We're definitely in that area, even for ourselves, to really just position, you know, ourselves, our community, everybody that we represent, you know, in just a place where we can grow and build something that's substantial. Which I highly also feel that it's important that if you're not doing it right now, you might as well just give it up because I don't feel like it's gonna be the opportunity is going away.
Right. Absolutely.
That's the thing that I get. It's going away and it's going quickly. So if you want it and you really, this is this is what you've been living for. This is what you drive for, and you know, you better put your foot on the gas. Make sure you get in touch with anyone you can possibly think of, and just really start working on it and work on your mindset. Mindset is the most important thing. Actually, something that I'm really leaning towards in what I'm doing is it's more about the energy that's behind, you know, in the build up the mindset. Because for people that are like ourselves, and I'm sure you can relate, I think that one thing that we don't talk a lot about is what we actually go through with that mindset process. And it's a lot.
Yes.
It's probably one of the hardest things I think that we do go through in building up, you know, and keeping a certain frequency to build our business. And for an independent artist, you know, and really just any brand, it's so important. It doesn't really matter what you're doing. It's so important to work on the mindset, because if you don't have the proper mindset, you could have all the skills, you could have all the talent in the world, but if you don't have the mindset to position yourself in the rooms with the billionaires and the millionaires and to have the discussions or to listen and to know you're just, it's pointless. You got 2 types of artists. I always say you got the one with the handout, and then you got the one that actually positions themselves to be able to take them, you know, to be able to have those conversations, to be able to converse with whoever that may be, whether that's a DJ, whether that's a PR, a marketer, whoever, an interviewer, that can actually take you into another plateau. Like I said, everybody knows somebody. You know, we all have connections. If you take if we take likeness to somebody who is in that mind space, then, or mindset space, then, you know, that's somebody that maybe we probably even look forward to working towards. But if it's an artist that's just coming out and just like, oh, what do you have for me? You know, this is what I got. What do you got for me? Which majority of them do, right? Then it's not going to go too far, because we can't just, you know, we can't just sit here and fill your cup all day and then you're not doing anything or meeting us halfway. You know, like, you have to bring the energy, you have to bring the synergies here with us, and then we can make some sense out of it.
Absolutely. Somebody's in the comments talking about the audio is choppy. I'm listening to it, and I just listened to it and it sounds crystal clear to me. So I don't know if maybe it's an issue on your end. Maybe your Wi-Fi connection's not right, but I just listened to it and it sounds perfectly clear to me over here. So I don't know where the choppiness is coming in. Maybe it's something on your end, bro. I just listened to it. Yeah, I just
mine too, and it seems okay.
Yeah, it's fine on my end too. But he asked what the name of the book is, and I got it scrolling across the bottom of the screen. So I don't know, maybe there's a Wi-Fi issue on your end, but I just listened to it and it sounds just fine over here. So I don't know what to tell y'all. Okay, let's go back to the book, because he was asking the name of it. I got it scrolling across the screen. The Secret Sauce, Your Engine to Success in the Music Business. And this is something that
Yep.
every artist, probably even managers, etc., need to be reading, because it's going to really break down the fundamentals of what you need to be doing in this industry.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And actually, I will get you the link right now. It's on Amazon. So I'll give you the link right now. Hold on.
So you guys can go.
No, absolutely. I think it's very important. There's a chat here, right? Oh yeah,
Yes.
I see it. I'll drop it in there. Um, so kind of, what kind of took me here with this book is, like I said, I've been behind the scenes for quite some time, and mainly I want to say in the, Radio Next Radio is a global radio network of, podcasts, AM, FM radios, DJ pools, you name it. And I had the pleasure of working with them for quite some time. Actually, he's a good friend of mine, the owner, but also worked in the event space, and I mean, I can't remember, like, give you an idea of a timetable. DJ Charisma was one of our first DJ back in the day. I think we were doing like Shark Club back then. I remember we helped E42nd tour. We helped with Paul Walsh tour. We helped break Nipsey, YG, Jim Jones, Mike Rhodes. Oh my gosh, the list goes on and on, right? Cardi B, Famous Dex, you name it. But in behind the scenes and like this element, and I was the go-to person, for a lot of the artists that are out there. A lot of them will tell you like, oh, Jules has a show, because I always have the shows, right? But I would help them get on whatever stage it was, whether it was Rolling Loud or it didn't matter, wherever they wanted to go, I could help them get on it. But I would also look, there was a couple things that the promoters look at, or booking, agents / promoters, for events look at. They look at, do you have good music? Are you going to burn their crowd? And can you bring people? That's it. They don't really care about anything else. Just FYI. It don't matter how your social media looks like. It doesn't matter how you look like online. If you're Googleable, searchable, any of that, none of that matters. But FYI, if you're going for a music label or distribution deal, that matters. So there's different things you have to look at here. So when I'm working with these artists and I'm putting them on all types of shows, I mean, they're coming up with budgets, crazy budgets. I think at one point, I don't do Rolling Loud, just so everybody knows, do not hit me for Rolling Loud no more. But when I did, we were doing like, I think the average spend was about 10,000 to get on stage for about 5-6 minutes. Majority of these people are paying that much money, getting on stage, and they may not have online presence. They may not be Googleable. Their Instagram handle doesn't even match their artist name, or they have music that's not even out. It could be great, but it's not even out. So it's like a poof of smoke. And I'm like, I would always tell them, why don't you spend 10 grand? Like, you just want to blow it? Let's spend it like at a strip club. Go get some content, and I don't know, make some money, pop some bottles. Like, at least you bring your friends and you can have some memories. But I don't know. Like, don't get me wrong, the Rolling Out isn't a bad idea, but if you even put $10,000 into marketing, let's put $10,000 into marketing, into a game plan, whether even that's 5 months. I guarantee you that within that time, most likely you're going to be invited to get on stages like Rolling Loud, if not an open opportunity to a situation like Rolling Loud. But again, it's all about the mindset. You know what I'm saying? It's all about, pay to play, cool, I get it. But you also want to have the mindset so that you can go in there and build a game plan. You're not just going in there just to like, boom, let's just go get this one cloud of smoke and that's it and it's over. Like, why not invest into what you're doing on a long term, so it makes sense. Like, why not, let's make sense to build some generational wealth along the way.
Absolutely, 100%. And I agree with you on that, because when you put yourself in a position where there's so many other artists, it's like, and you're spending thousands of dollars, how are you going to stand out against all these other artists? You know what I'm saying? How are you going to stand out against all these other artists? Because now it's like somebody may have came to see all these other artists. What are you going to do to make yourself stand out? So it's like, take that $10,000 budget and put it into your marketing. artists forget that there's marketing, promo are some of the most important things that you can do out here. And that's where a good PR is going to come into play, because you're going to either be able to help them specifically or point them in the direction of somebody who could.
Right. And, you know, to remember who you are. That's like the main thing, because if you're a proof of smoke, nobody's gonna remember who you are, and then it was like $10,000 you threw out the window. You know, say whether you got content or whatever, that's cool, but you want to make sure that it's impactful for your future. So this kind of is where thing, you know, this is kind of one of the things that I thought of, but why I even came up with the book, because you know, if you walk into a situation and you're only covering one part, and I'll just for you guys right now, I'll tell you what these 4 parts are so you have an idea. But I usually call this your you know, it's like your engine to your brand. You know, you have this engine, and if you think about, you know, you have an engine, let's say the power steering is out, you're not going to go too far, you're going to pivot. But if we have every component of this engine working, which we have 4 parts, right? So you have your ground presence, you have your online presence, you have your social media presence, and then you have your music media presence as an artist. So you have 4 parts, right? Now, a lot of artists out there are probably, you know, there's a lot I know that are good at social media presence in some areas, you know, maybe TikTok, sometimes Instagram or whatever. Some are good at, you know, their ground presence, you know, or but it's always a toss. It's like they never are working on all 4, you know. And it's so imperative to be working on all 4 consistently, because if you're not, you're like the car that the power steering is out. You're literally going to continue to pivot in a certain point, and you're just like, it's going to take you forever. But if you have all 4 parts and you're working every single thing, taking you to the next level in a game plan, in a strategy, well, you can't do anything but win. You know what I'm saying? You might run into things where it's not going to work out, but you're still going to continue to win. You're still going to continue to get to your destination.
Absolutely, 100%. Right now, are you open to taking new clients as long as it makes sense for both of you guys?
So yes, I generally am not scouting right now, but I am open to taking in new clients, and usually it's a lot of times it's just referrals.
Got you. Understood. Understood.
I'm grateful for referrals, because you know I know we've been working for quite some time now as well, but I think everybody that I have in my circle have been, you know, we have pretty good rapport, so I trust them if they come to me with somebody, and I know that, you know, I'm not going to be wasting my time. So I love my referrals.
Me too. I mean, honestly, like, majority of my clients come from referrals and ads, or they're just repeat clients. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't go out there. I don't ever jump in someone's DM and say, hey, want to come interview with me? I've never done that in my 14 years. Never, ever. I always allow them to figure out who TampaMystic is, who Industry's Most Wanted is. And then they come to me, and that's what I tell people. I'm like you said earlier, doing your homework on who you're going to work with to make sure you're spending money with someone who's not going to scam you is extremely important, because you and I both know there's a ton of scammers out here. It's a scammer capital of the world.
Absolutely. And like I always tell my clients too, even when we're doing campaigns, one thing that I do is I kind of go, because we do everything, and I know, because I come to you for a lot of stuff too, but also, whether it's marketing, whether it's, let's just say YouTube or Spotify, whatever it may be that we're working on, I really do walk them through everything that that through the process and everything that I know, and how, things are moving. And of course, I'm not an expert in everything. I have a team of experts that I work with behind the scenes, including yourself. So it's helpful for me, because certain things that I might not have all the way, I know I can hit up Mystic for something, I can hit up whoever else it may be that's in that specialty, you know what I'm saying, or specialize in that area. But I do relate this to my clients, because I feel like, if you want to become like a Russ, let's just say, you're going to need to know all the in and outs of all these things, because at one point you would be hiring your own team if this is what you're going to do for the rest of your life. You're going to be eventually having your own marketing team, your own, even if it's you're keeping us for certain things, you're still going to have You might hire somebody to just do YouTube ads for you all the time. You know
Right.
what I mean? But how do you know what they're supposed to do if you don't even have an idea and you've paid people in the process to do it, but you never learned from it? So it's good to learn, like to have an idea, not so that,
Absolutely.
and not even for some people, some artists, I know they're taking on certain things that they're doing on their own, but also, it's important to have the idea of what the in and outs are to what to expect, for sure.
Absolutely, because like you said, a lot of artists, and I'm gonna go back and say this again, and I don't mean to throw shade, I'm just stating pure facts that a lot of artists don't take time to read anything. Like they just don't. And this is just people probably in general, but we're speaking about music artists right now. I'm not picking on the artists tonight because I love y'all artists. But when someone sends you some information about business that you inquired about, take the time to read through it to make sure what you're getting yourself into is what you need to be getting yourself into, right? But a lot of artists, rather than reading and learning, they just want to pay someone to do the work for them, and then, like you said, they don't know if that person's actually doing what they're supposed to be doing, and then they wonder why they're not seeing results. Okay, well, maybe if you did your homework to see what it is that person's supposed to be doing for you, you'll know if they're actually doing it. So I couldn't agree with you more.
Right. And a real quick cheat sheet, I will tell you guys, and if you don't like to read, there's YouTube. And you can Google literally search just about anything on YouTube. And there's a lot of entrepreneurs that are on there that are literally spilling the tea, giving you information, insight, you name it. So I would definitely utilize YouTube, but and Audible, and there's a lot of different things, but definitely make sure to even at least get in the habit, because I do this for myself. I'm not like, I don't just love to read, I ain't gonna lie, like I actually do a lot of audibles. but I also do enforce myself as discipline, to read, even if it's 15 minutes in the morning and in the evening at least. If not, sometimes I do more, but sometimes I'll just binge. But yes, but and that's just something that I discipline myself to do. But again, this goes back to your mindset. As an indiepreneur, an independent artist, you want to be in a space where you're learning and growing and building, so you have a better understanding to so where you're going in your journey. It's only going to help you become stronger and connect the dots.
Absolutely. And you were absolutely right. And what you said about YouTube is the truth, because me personally, I'm more of a visual learner, right? I learn by watching something easier versus trying to read the manual. Like if I have instructions on how to do something, I want to watch a video. You know what I'm saying? So if you find as an artist that you don't like to read the instructions, but there are going to be some things you do need to read, just like Jules said, you're going to have to take 10, 15 minutes here and there. You're going to have to. That's just a part of the fundamentals of life, right? But if you're trying to learn a new skill set, then perhaps go watch them videos on YouTube, because I learned a lot about what I do as far as what cameras to get, what audio interface, by watching YouTube videos. You know what I'm saying? But there are going to be things y'all need to read. So one of the comments we got says, holding on to independence is difficult, especially when you're learning on business on the fly. And I mean, yeah, that's true. But I think most people are learning it on the fly. Like me and Jewel be learning stuff on the fly.
On the fly. Well, what I want to say in response to that is, yes, I agree. But like she said, we all do. A couple things. One, I want to say is why. Again, I put the book out there so you have at least the recipe or the guide to get you started, so you actually know the base, right? And knowing that base is going to help you to understand, okay, now where do I go from here? Just good news. I'm actually coming out again, like I said, with a volume of different books, and I kind of have a treat in a sense where it's not going to be a lot of reading. It's actually going to be a lot more hands-on, and I'm giving them the opportunity to be able to just really engage through this volume. So I'm really excited, to share that once I get ready to drop it. But the other thing that I want to share is that regardless of what we do in life, it changes all the time. Like, I've been doing this now and it's crazy because I thought about the other day, like, dang, how long have I been doing this? Well, behind the scenes for about 20 years. But FYI, I was an artist before that. I a model, I was a dancer, I've done it all. I played piano in front of 8,000 people when I was 9. By the time I was 13, I'm watching Rent Face, and by the time I was 15, I had my own band. So I've kind of done the whole limelight. But as a entrepreneur behind the scenes, I can't even count how many times things have changed where I've been forced to change. FY, that's sped up a lot in the last couple of years. I used to, on an average, I remember at some point some years ago, regroup maybe every year, and then I think it started to like happen like every season, and then eventually it was like every month, and then now it's like almost every day, right? so it's like, but FY, with breaking technology, understand that if you stay on the edge of breaking technology, and I got to give this to my good friend, Kubi, Mr. Fisher Wessel, the owner of Rated X Radio. He used to always say this: stay on the edge of breaking technology, and if you do, you will be fine, because you're going to always adapt to what that is. And it is so true, because literally look at everything that's going on today. Everything has changed since last year. Everything, including how we operate, even in the business. That's from whether we're talking about Spotify, whether we're talking about iTunes charting, whether we're talking about billboards, and we do it all. Every single platform has now its own and process, because they have AI now doing the automation versus a human.
Yes.
So in order for us as a human, to be able to stay abreast, like we have to adjust to whatever these things are, so we are now well prepared. Like, for example, a couple of years ago, I used to do smaller campaigns, where I kind of like help the artist kind of, how do I want to say, like kind of tier their way up in a sense, and in that process we're working on funding and those types of things. But now you really don't want to do that, because it's almost kind of pointless in a sense. I mean, it's cool to do it, but it's like, it might be like occasionally a cool thing to do, but it really isn't going to help, because if you don't have a full-on game plan and a budget to work with, it's just pointless, because you're going to just be going in circles, because you have to, even if you're doing charting, you have to show that every other area, those 4 elements that I was talking about. So it's crazy, because I actually wrote the book a few years ago, right? So now today it's reality. If those 4 elements aren't showing that they're also taking off on all areas, then your charts can literally be thrown out the window and just say, okay, well, you just can't even return anymore, because you didn't match the energy that you matched on the charting boards versus online or social media or music media, etc.
Right. It's got to balance out somewhere.
It's got to balance. And I always love to use Taylor Swift as an example. Taylor Swift stays on charts, but at the same time, she is consistent in lots of areas. Even how she charts, her projects, she'll have multiple. You could have 6 songs. Let's just say a 6-song EP. I'm sorry, 6-song EP. She will have like a 36-song EP, because she might have 6 versions of every single song.
Right.
So that into billboards. Well, now guess what you have the DJs doing? You have multiple DJs purchasing lots of different versions of those 6 songs, So I'm just using her as an example of the strategies of why somebody can stay at the top. There's nobody that you see in the music business is at the top by accident or because they were sponsored by some big whatever. It's kind of funny to me, because people always think like, oh yeah, well maybe I get on. I've heard some people say, they want to get on. Their goal is to be on, like let's say, like at Super Bowl, right? Well, if you guys don't know, the artists that are on Super Bowl, yeah, they probably get called out to, but they still pay.
Everything is pay to play out here, even radio. If you think that these major artists aren't still investing money into their career, you're sadly mistaken. There's constantly, it costs $250,000 to get your music from radio, to get a radio campaign going. I have artists that'll come to me about my internet-based stations, and they'll say, "Oh, is this FM radio?" I said, "Bro, if you think you can get your song on FM radio for $30, like everybody would be doing it." No, it's literally like into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. So like you said, even though they get pick and chose, there's still money that's coming out of their pocket.
No, absolutely. And it's shifting right now. It's shifting right now to a place where, I mean, you see a lot of the majors coming down. So it's like this reset doesn't really care so much about as a major, as an independent. If you really put your mind to it and this is something you really want, yes, you can make a living out of it. Yes, you can build some type of generational wealth. Yes, you can be successful, but you have to have the mindset. I want to touch on Saxton's note. He said, I don't think AI is helpful to artists. I think it takes away control from the artists. And I just want to say this, and a good friend of mine actually told me this too. Actually, he owns IE Soundtrack, which is a new media platform for those of you artists are out there. But you got to know this. Again, it goes back to the mindset and back to you as an entrepreneur. Just know every single one of you have something that nobody else in this world has. Nobody. Like, you have a story that's unique to you, and that purpose and that vision was given to you, whether you want to say higher purpose, God, whatever. But it is important to remember that and never forget that, because regardless of what AI can do, it can only do what you tell it or what you teach it. So don't teach it everything. You know what I'm saying? Use it to your aid. But at the same time, even if you did teach it as everything, you still can't have the true authenticity of you as a human, as a person, as somebody who's actually experienced and, has the experience in the journey and you name it. So you are actually unique, away from everything else. So never think that, and again, let's get back to the mindset. And, I would probably look into some things that could help you build in frequency. Bob Proctor's really cool. I love Bob Proctor. He has a lot of really cool stuff still on YouTube, but just anything like that that's going to help you build your mindset, because the more you do, it's going to help you to just understand.
Right. And I agree. I feel like that people have to understand what it can be used for, the power of AI. Like, I find it very helpful. You know what I'm saying? Like, some of the tools that I use with my interviews is powered by AI, and it takes a lot of the timely work out of what I do. You know what I'm saying? Like, some of the video clips that I make, for example, I run them through CapCut, and they have an AI in there that will, chop it up, clip it up. Do you know how much time that saves me? So it's like, for me, I'm here for the AI. I won't use it for everything, but I think it could be an artist friend, like you said, because the more you use it, the more it becomes custom to you. You have to kind of teach it and train it.
I ain't even gonna lie to you, because I was stubborn as crap to use it at first. It was probably like a couple years ago. It had to be like a couple years ago. I want to say it was Boozy was on the West, but yeah, my partner, she's always telling me I'm using AI. It's just so amazing. I was like, no, but I started using it, and now I'm over here talking to it like, I just love you. Like, thank you.
Absolutely. And especially with people like what you and I do when it comes to journalism and stuff, there's certain things in there that can help with that, because say I write an article, I can run it through one of these programs to check it to make sure that the punctuation's good, things like that. I still believe in, us being able to sit down and write stuff ourselves, but there's nothing wrong with running it through these programs to make sure that maybe what we wrote actually makes sense before we put it out to the world. There's nothing, I find it to be a helpful tool. Maybe I haven't utilized it in every aspect but for what I've used it for, I love it.
Yeah, no, I love it too. And it is very helpful, because if you, people like ourselves, we're trying to help a village, if not more, you know what I'm saying? And we're one person.
Yes.
So, and even as an artist, right now we have some really great campaigns for social media, and lots of really cool things that does implement AI, like an automated system, of your response, which is helpful to you, because for you guys, if you want to just be an artist and be in the studio and creating and et cetera, but then you have to keep up with your social media and do content every day or whatever, like it gets to be overwhelming. It's a lot. But if you can use automated systems to help you in those areas, then it only helps you out to get more time to do what
Absolutely.
you love. So that's where you
Definitely. I'm going to put your IG back on the screen one more time because I want to make sure that, any artist that sees this now, or maybe they see the replay of it, that way they can follow you. Again, you mentioned you would be open to new clients if it makes sense for both you guys. You're not necessarily out there looking and scouting for them, but you would be open to it. Any other platforms besides Instagram where people can follow you and keep up with you?
I'm Jules of Rome literally everywhere. Let's see, I'll drop my website in here too. But yeah, pretty much you can
Let me put that on
Google.
the screen.
Okay. I'll just put it the way it's actually spelled. Or it's Jules of Rome. It could be either way.
Got it. All right. I'm going to put both of these on the screen. So you guys can hit either one of these websites for her. Let me see here. Hold on. Let me copy and paste this one.
If you Google Jules of Rome, I'm the only one. So
yeah, she is the only one out there, you guys. All right, so let's see. Now it's on the screen, so that's everywhere. So do a screen record, a screenshot, something like that, so you'll have all her information. Anything else that you have coming up or in the works? I know that you're consistently working on these books that you talked about. Anything else that we need to be on the lookout for?
I have so much; it would probably be many more interviews. But I would just say, just watch, just stay tuned. Yeah,
Definitely.
because a lot of really exciting things. Like I said, I don't just help, artists, of course. So I'm pretty excited. A lot of different things, media platforms, and I have a movement in Africa that we're working on, and there's a lot of different things. Yeah.
What did he? Okay, there's another comment here. It says, so what about platforms like DistroKid and TuneCore and their access to radio and streaming platforms? Are these platforms truly getting you access to FM radio? No, that's your distribution company. DistroKid should be utilized as your distribution company to get your music on the streaming platforms. Maybe satellite radio or Pandora, but that's not where you're going to go for your FM campaigns. You're going to need to find maybe some potentially like music supervisors who can help you get your music in film. They might be able to have access to these FM campaigns. But DistroKid, TuneCore should be used for your distribution purposes.
Yes, boom, there she said it. See, and like I said, I'm going to be having you come to my podcast so you can share this information when we get there. Absolutely. And then I would recommend to, again, not to try to put no shade, but it is what it is. DistroKid is not the best option for independent artists. I highly would recommend, if you are an artist that really is looking to build and grow and take things onto another level, choose something else. That's all I want to say. And if you don't want to believe me, you can literally Google search, Twitter, whatever. There's a lot of, it's just not fitting for the independent artist, in my opinion, that's trying to take
Absolutely.
off.
Absolutely. I like United Masters because they present a lot of opportunities for independent artists on the sync licensing side, meaning they can help you get your music in video games, commercials, films, etc. TuneCore, I don't think DistroKid are not offering those services like United Masters does. So United Masters is a good choice. You can have more than one distribution company. You just can't put the same song out on multiple distribution platforms. Maybe pick and choose. Okay, well, this release will fit with TuneCore. This release will fit with United Masters, whatever. But it doesn't make sense to have multiple ones. United Masters, I'm a fan of. He asked if you're a label or marketing agency. She does public relations, but you can maybe break down exactly what your title is.
Okay. Wait, what is she? He asked, is she a label or marketing agency? So a PR marketing agency, yes. And we do help artists get into label situations. I've never really been particularly big about major label deals in a sense, but I have helped people in that area. And then just so you know, they're not actually signing independent artists anymore. I don't know if you know or don't know that, but they kind of stopped doing that. I want to say not last year, the year before, right? Like towards the end of that year, so 2023, the end of 2023. But they're citing more of influencers now, and what I would recommend though is we do help a lot of people get like situations like distribution deals, and just things that are actually going to make more sense in the long term. Sync situations. It could be and then just to go back to like saying, if you're working on a certain project, sometimes you might get in a situation where you're doing like a project deal or something like that. They might have a certain distributor that they work with. You might want to just do that with that specific project with them.
Absolutely, yeah, because labels quit signing a lot of independent artists because those artists are more of a liability than they are an asset. I posted about this the other day because artists be so pressed on getting signed. The thing is, if you're not already making a good amount of money on your own as an independent artist, no label's gonna even look at you. If you're not getting paid shows, you're not getting booked to come do walkthroughs, you're not getting paid features, and a label's not gonna look at you because they're gonna look at you as a liability. If you can't make money on your own, how you gonna make money for this label? Because essentially the label's like a bank. They're giving you a loan, but they want to know they're gonna make that back and then some. So I don't feel like artists should be so pressed on signing to a label anyway. You can, like Jules said, get a distribution deal through somebody. That way you still have creative control over what it is that you want to do with your music career.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, what most artists don't understand is that a label situation is like a hard loan. It's probably worse than a hard loan because not only do you have to pay the money back, probably plus times 10. Also, you need to make sure that everything that you're spending, you're paying back. Plus, you owe them your time, and sometimes they even, if you walk into that situation and you're not prepared, like you don't have an LLC set up and you don't have your music administration set up and things like that, man, it could be really bad. Like it could be to a point where they just have ownership of you as a creator.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree
and you
more.
don't really win anything. So it's, again, why it's just really important to do your homework and have an idea of, all the areas. And then one thing I did want to share is that, we do, like, of course, at Music Funding Academy, our main thing is to help the independent artists become signed to themselves, which is most important, in my opinion. Even if you are going to go into some type of situation with another partner or whatever, or whatever deal or distribution, whatever. Because if you sign yourself to yourself first and you learn how to pay yourself first, well, then all the other things are just added on to what you're doing, and it's part of business. So it's most important. And I'll make sure to, anybody that's interested, I could give you guys a direct link, for more information on Music Funding Academy. But I'd highly recommend any artist that is out there that don't have funding, you need funding, or you just need help, the structure, the process, it doesn't matter. Like, get in the program, because in these programs, what's great about the community is it's open not just to many people like yourself who are all working on the same goal, like, so you have like accountability partners in a sense on this journey, but also you become a part of this community that has other industry executives like myself that comes in on a regular basis, and different, we have Zoom calls and, special guests and all types of stuff. So you get actual direct access and eyes on you in the room, with them. So communities like that are great. I also represent Writing Sessions America. We kind of do something similar, but those for like sync situations, sync deals, and a lot of other, organizations that I'm a part of, that are very helpful for the independent artists. If you're trying to take yourself into another level, you want to get in those.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for sharing all your knowledge tonight and coming through. We'll have to do a follow-up maybe, I don't know, in a month or two, because I know that there's a lot more to cover. But, for tonight, I think we've given them a lot of information. Let that all soak in. Go buy her book, which I'm going to put it back on the screen one more time so you guys can go purchase her book, The Secret Sauce, Your Engine to Success in the Music Business. Like she said, it's available on Amazon. Make sure you go to her YouTube, not YouTube, but her face. Wait, hold on. Let me back up. Her Instagram, follow her on Instagram. I'm getting ahead of myself. And make sure you go to her websites, which are listed here. So again, screenshot it, record it, all that. Anything else that you want to, drop on them before we get out of here?
No, that's it. I mean, I just want to thank you so much for your
Of
time,
course.
your energy. I'm grateful, and yeah. And I hope any one of you guys that are out there, I hope you guys got some insight from this, at least that'll help you towards your journey.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being here tonight. And shout out to everybody that tuned in, whether it was on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. This interview will stay permanently on all the platforms except for Twitch, and you guys can check it out. So y'all have a beautiful and blessed night.